Hey, what's going on, everybody? David over here with InvestQ Live. And I know right now most people are mainly talking about the SpaceX IPO coming this Friday. But today, I also want to cover another stock that just came out with their quarterly reports and had some good financial key metrics that showed good signs for the company, but the stock is still down. And that stock that we're going to be covering is none other than Planet Labs. And what's interesting is that many of the business metrics did improve. We're talking about when we look at the headlines, you're going to see here that for Planet Labs, you're going to see that revenue was up 42% year over year. You're going to see that that management appears to be executing on a strategy. Yet the stock still has been under pressure, but at the same time, investors they have become increasingly focused on the upcoming SpaceX IPO, which could bring even more attention to the entire space sector. So, what it is we're going to do in this video together, both me and you, is we're going to look at what Planet Lab actually does, the key takeaways from the quarter, why the stock may still be struggling or had a big sell off as of recently, and whether the SpaceX IPO could create new interest in companies like Planet Labs. So let's jump into it. Again, my name's David over here at InvestQ. And a few things real quick. I want to give a shout out to all of my subscribers and all the people that tuned in today and yesterday. Again, we just hit a milestone, first ever video in a 24-hour period to get 1K views, and currently the video is up at 1,600 views at the moment. So I appreciate all of you. And again, remember, this Friday, we're going to do a little prep the night before with the SpaceX IPO and just cover some of the stocks, a few other space stocks to watch and the night before, and at market open on Friday. I'll start the live somewhere around 9 o'clock a.m. We're going to be actually covering the SpaceX IPO, and we're just going to be looking at the price action and all that. So again, tune in if you guys are interested to see that. Now, let's get back to the video and the topic of today. So first off, a quick run through based on what Planet Labs actually does is Planet Labs operates one of the largest Earth's observation satellite networks in the world. And their satellites, they continuously image the Earth's surface and provide valuable data to customers around the globe. And a few of the customers include people like their governments include governments, defense agencies, intelligence organizations, agricultural businesses, and environmental organizations. Hey guys, it's David with InvestQ, and a lot of the research and stock discussions actually happen in my free InvestQ community before the videos even come out. I post weekly CTM updates, quantum stock coverage, daily watch lists, and fast breaking news reactions throughout the week. And if you want to stay ahead of what I'm watching in the market, feel free to join the free InvestQ community. First link in the description below. So essentially, Planet Labs is the business of collecting data from space and selling that information to organizations that do need it. As the world becomes increasingly data driven, that information becomes more valuable. Now, going back to the let me see here, the fiscal year for the first quarter of the fiscal year 2027. So the first quarter report right here, and again, for those of you that are confused, the fiscal year doesn't necessarily mean the actual year we're in right now. Fiscal year and the current year are two different things, just so you know. But this is up to date, and the report did come on June 4th for anyone that does get a little bit confused on why it says 2027. But looking at the latest quarter, there were several positive developments that we saw here. So first off, take a look at revenue. Delivered record quarterly revenue of 94 million, which is up 42% year over year. And the company continued expanding its relationships, and management continued focusing on customer relationships. And a few other things, the backlog is up 72% year over year to over 906 million. And they also had a few successful launches. They successfully launched 3 Pelican satellites, including Sweden's first sovereign reconnaissance satellite. And lastly, in the headline, cash and cash equivalents and short-term investments increased 223% year over year to $731 million. So with all these, with what we see in the headlines right now, why are we seeing this type of price action where on the day we were down 1.4%, and after hours we're down another 1.7%, and we're all the way from the up all-time highs at about $51.76, and currently trading or closed the day at $3.72. Now, this is the question that people that do pay attention to Planet Labs would be asking. And I do think that most people that have paid attention to Planet Labs, it's kind of obvious what it is for, but there's some that would be a little confused or a little curious. So let's break that down together and answering that, because there's some people that still don't know that just because a company comes out with good news does not always mean that there's a black and white result where if there's good news, the stock goes up, or if there's bad news, the stock goes down. There's a lot of different variables and factors that come into play. So the reality is that the stock price and the business performance don't always move together in the short term. Over a long enough time frame, if the business continues growing and continues succeeding, and if management keeps executes and can continue to execute, that's a different story. They will go and grow long term, but in the short term, that's not necessarily what it means. Because again, sometimes the market can be focused elsewhere, and right now there are a lot of competing themes attracting investor attention. And we've seen plenty of examples where companies report what many would consider solid results only to see the stock sell off anyway. Like take Nvidia, for example. There's been many times where it causes the entire stock market to stagnate all the way up until, like, say if it's a Wednesday, right? That's when they're reporting it. Monday, Tuesday, it's flat or it's down. And then they beat it and it's a good beat, but then there's a little bit of volatile price action, sometimes to the upside, but then immediately just crashes down. Just because good news comes out doesn't mean the stock price goes in alignment with that good news in the short term. And what I want to talk about next is the SpaceX IPO, because as I'm saying, the market can be focused elsewhere. And right now that focus probably, or honestly, yes, is due to the SpaceX IPO. That's the big elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the room right now. And the upcoming SpaceX IPO is one of the most anticipated public offering in years, alongside with Anthropic and OpenAI. And SpaceX has become one of the most important companies in the world when it comes to these main 4 things. That being launch services, satellite communications, national security, and space exploration. And because of that, investors are paying very close attention whenever a company of this size and importance enters public markets. And it tends to bring additional attention to the entire industry. Now, if you're asking, how could that potentially impact Planet Labs? Well, this is where things get interesting. Many investors will immediately focus on SpaceX, but once people start researching the broader space industry, they will inevitably begin looking at the publicly traded names. Companies such as Planet Labs, Redwire, Rocket Lab, Black Sky, Intuitive Machines, ticker symbol LUNR. All of those companies could all see increased investor attention as interest in the sector grows. And Planet Labs specifically operates in a very unique area of the market. They're not building rockets, they're not launching astronauts, they're providing data. And in today's world, data is becoming one of the most valuable assets any company can own. And the growth of artificial intelligence, defense spending, intelligence gathering, and commercial analytics all increase the potential for the type of information Planet Labs offers. Now, even though I'm saying some good things for the company, there's obviously going to be some risks. And of course, investors, me and you, and potential shareholders of any company, if you're a shareholder of Planet Lab right now, you got to understand the risks associated with it. And said risks are Planet Labs still needs to continue growing revenue, and they have been doing that. But again, consistency is key, and a business needs to continue to keep on growing. And the company still needs to improve profitability over time. And the space sector is something that is still very volatile as of right now. And even great companies can experience large drawdowns if investor sentiment changes, both from the retail and the institutional perspective. So, in my opinion, that's why I see it's very important to focus on the business itself rather than getting overly emotional about short term price movements like what we're seeing here from the all time highs of $51.76 to now where we're closing the day at $30.72. So, let me know what it is you think about Planet Labs. Are you a shareholder? Do you like Planet Labs? Are you thinking that this is a good opportunity to buy around these lows? Let me know in the comment section below, and also tell me what it is you want to see in future upcoming videos, as I do love to give the content you want to see. And besides that, also hit the like and subscribe button, as I do appreciate the support from you guys. But with that being said, stay safe, keep making good decisions with your long-term portfolios, and I'll see you on the next video.